Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Aiden, Tell Me a Story. Oh, my lips are chapped. Lately, the world has felt heavy. Everywhere you turn, there's bad news, division, negativity. It's exhausting. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it just feels like too much. Like, how are we supposed to keep pushing forward when everything seems so chaotic? And I don't necessarily want this to be a political episode, but honestly, as a gay in Trump's America, it's kind of scary. The future feels so meek and unsure, and I can't control any of that. But what I can control is how I take care of myself, how I find joy, and where I place my energy. For me, that light comes from creativity, my friends, and the little joys that keep me going. Whether it's watching my comfort shows, making my favorite meal, or laughing until I cry. So today, let's talk about finding hope in the small things and the things that remind us why we keep going.
Life Unfiltered. How to find hope when it feels hopeless.
So for starters, I just want to validate you. It's okay. It's okay that you feel overwhelmed. It's okay that you feel stressed out. It's okay that everything is just scary and uncertain. That's human. That's human, and you are human, and you have feelings and you have emotions, and they're valid. Okay? They're valid. Life isn't always fun and roses, and it will never be. It'll never be. It'll never be, especially if you allow others to control your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions, and especially if you let the outside affect the in. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it's important to sit with those feelings, to acknowledge them, to say, okay, that's how I feel, but don't let them consume you. Don't let that be who you are. Don't become that sadness, that negativity, that overwhelming, crushing reality of the world. Because you're not that. You're so much more than that. And that is just a temporary feeling, because we shall not let that consume us, okay? Say it with me. We are not going to let the sadness and weight of the world consume us. We're better than that. We're bigger than that. And we have so much more to offer than that. But I get it. I get it. Oh boy, do I get it. There's been plenty of times in my life where the weight of the world has really consumed me, and I struggled with depression for a long time, and I still struggle with depression every now and then. It's not something that ever goes away, because sadness will always creep back in there, be it grief from the loss of a loved one, be it the loss of a job, the loss of your financial independence and stability that you once had because the economy. There's so many reasons for life to creep in and to remind you, like, hey, actually, it's all crazy out here. And that's valid. That's valid. Sit with that, acknowledge it, and move on. Because if there's one thing I can empower you to do, is find your creative outlet. Because for me, what I did was I just embraced more of my creative self. I allowed whatever I needed to get out to come out through my creativity, through my projects, be it crafting by myself for myself, doing projects that no one will ever see, or doing projects like this podcast, which in all reality, this podcast came at a time where I was stressed and confused. I had just gotten fired from my job. I had missed another job opportunity. Life was chaotic, and I didn't necessarily know how I was going to be able to get all the pieces together. And I told myself, okay, yes, this is sad. It was sad that I lost my job. It was sad that I missed that job opportunity. And both of those times, I allowed myself to be sad for a day. And I was like, okay, I'm moving on. And I know not everybody can do that, because that takes time. That takes a lot of work, and I have put in a lot of work. And I'm grateful that I am at this point where I can just let go of that and keep pushing on and be so headstrong about what my next steps are, even though I don't necessarily know what the next steps are. With this podcast, I was like, let me just do this. I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know what I was going to be doing. I didn't know I was going to be interviewing people. I didn't know that what it shaped up to be is a podcast about resilience, creativity, and authenticity. And all my guests on here so far have been creative individuals who have carved their own path in this world, who have really just outdid them. Even when life got hard, they took chances, and they said F it to the rest of the world, and they just figured it out on their own, or with help through their friends and loved ones and family. And either way, they're doing it, and they're just tired of sitting idly by. And I'm sure you are too. I'm sure you are too, because life is too short for you to just let it pass you by. You need to be one with it. You need to create your story. You need to write your own story, right? Because if you let others write it for you, which ties back into my intro, then what is life? What is life, you know? I also get and understand that depending on your age, depending on your location in the world, depending on your gender, your ethnicity, your sexuality, there's so many factors that play into your ability to be able to carve your own path and create your own way in this world. And I just hope and pray and encourage you to find your people and find those who lift you up and support you. And if you don't have those people now, trust and believe that those people will come to you, because they will. You will find your people. You will find your chosen family, because they're out there. They're waiting for you, and you're waiting for them. And eventually your paths will cross, and it's going to be so beautiful and so magical and so worth it. And I am so excited for that moment for you. And I am so grateful that I have found a lot of my people, but I know that there's more of my people out there, and you might be one of them. So for me, one of my main ways is finding hope in and through creativity. Creativity for me is a form of escape and empowerment. It's a way to define your own life and create your own path, which, I mean, that's what I'm here doing. I'm trying my hardest to make my way in the world and just figure it out one day at a time. I don't necessarily know what's next, but I know that I'm still doing it, and I'm still trying. Even though I will say it is very stressful trying to keep up doing a podcast every single week, and scheduling interviews and editing these podcasts and getting clips up for the socials and all the little intricate details that it takes to make these episodes possible and get myself out there. It's worth it. It's worth it, and it keeps me calm and connected and grounded in a way that I don't necessarily understand, because a lot of people believe that social media, yes, it keeps you connected, but it keeps you disconnected in a certain sense too. But I don't know, for me, and especially specifically with this podcast, I've got to connect with my friends on a deeper level that I've never have before, and I never thought to. I love talking to people, and I love talking to my friends, and I love learning new things about people. And boy, have I learned a lot of new things about my people, and I am so grateful for that. And if you think you're not creative, you are. There has to be something that you do, even if you do it for nobody else to see, that makes you happy. If you think you're bad at it, so what? So what? If nobody's gonna see it, so what? Even if people do see it, so what? Who cares? Keep doing it. Find those little things that make you happy. I have a plethora of things that I do creatively that make me happy and fulfill me in some way, shape, or form, or fulfill a part of me. I like painting. I like coloring and drawing, because Mom Peggy loved doing that, and that helps me feel connected to her, so that makes me feel more creative, and it just helps that specifically fulfills a little part of me. And then I love rhinestoning and bedazzling, because Robin loves rhinestoning, and that helped me feel connected to her, and that was cute, and I enjoyed that so much. I like editing and podcasting and doing my social media, because it just makes me feel validated. If I'm being completely honest, it makes me feel like I have my purpose, and I am continuing to fight for my career and my dreams, because I can't stand idly by. I can't wait for producers to knock on my door and be like, hey, Aiden, here's a big movie, which, I mean, one day that's gonna happen for sure, but it's not happening yet. So I gotta keep on keeping on, you know what I mean? And when I do get to act, when I do have these moments of creativity on stage or on set, I just try my hardest to enjoy it, even though sometimes there's like for example, right now I just got off of my 9-hour shift at work, right? And I've been doing this Monday through Friday, and it's draining, it's exhausting, it's not fun, but I do enjoy the people there, I do. But I still make time to do this. I still make time to create in some way, shape, or form. Even when I'm at, I don't know if this is unhealthy or not, but even when I'm at work during my lunch break and stuff, sometimes instead of like, oh, I'm eating and watching like a little YouTube video, I'm like editing my podcast, or I'm editing a video, or I'm editing social media post, or I'm writing in my journal about something, or in my notes app about something. Like I'm filling my spaces where I can with what I love and with what I know will keep me going and keep me feeling content and confident and productive. And those little things, even if I wasn't doing this, I know that I'd have something to do. You know what I mean? If I was a person who just loved to color, I would just bring a coloring book with me everywhere. If I was a person who loved to read, I would just bring a book with me everywhere. Or music. If I love music like that, I would just, well, I do bring my headphones with me everywhere. I mean, I do love music, but I mix it up. But you know what I mean? You pick up what I'm putting down. Just find something, some little thing, some big thing, anything. It doesn't even have to cost money necessarily. I mean, I know everything costs money, but find something that you can reasonably, comfortably, affordably do that just keeps you feeling like fulfilled, and a little part of your soul just makes you feel like something cathartic. I love a good cathartic craft. Another way that helps me find hope in this chaotic world is through my connections with my friends, my connections with my family, calling my grandma, calling my grandpa, which I'm grateful to still have them, spending time with my friends here in New York City, or chatting with my friends who are halfway across the world. It's so important to me, even though in those moments I don't acknowledge the importance of it. I'm like, oh, I'm just talking to Danielle, oh, I'm just talking to Robin, oh, I'm just talking to Monica. I'm not out here like, this is important for me, I need to make time for that. Oh, well, my sister, I do try to make time for my sister, because she's a crazy woman, but she's got a lot of good little nuggets that keep me in my flow and in my zone. I don't know how to explain it. If you have a big sister, you know what I mean. Because big sisters, they are rough, they are unfiltered, they're a little mean sometimes, but they really do keep you grounded, and you know that you are just surrounded in a blanket full of love, light, happiness, and joy, even when they're being a little butthole. Yeah, no, but find people in your life who spark your joy and bring you happiness and contentness and peace. And if you don't have those people yet, be on the look for them. Go find your people, which you can find those people through the creative endeavors that you love. If you love reading books, start a book talk. Find your people on TikTok. Find your people on Instagram. If you love arts and crafts, go to craft fairs, because we all know every big town has them. Even some small towns, you can find groups on Reddit and Instagram and all those things. Find your group, find your people, so that you have people that you can confide in, that you can release in. Not like that, you little nasty. That will help you feel confident and empowered. Find those people. I mean, there are times when my life is just so overwhelming and exhausting that I need to talk to my friends. I need my people to be like, Aiden, it's okay. Where you are is perfectly fine. And you know what? Another nugget that you should hear is the fact that you should have friends who are all different ages. You should have friends in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, in their 20s, so that you can have somebody who's been where you are, who can tell you that, hey, life is chaotic at that age. At your age, where you are, life is, you don't understand it, and you don't have to. It's gonna make more sense as it unfolds. And is it gonna be fun? No. Is it gonna be easy? No. Is it gonna be beautiful? Sometimes. But most of the time, it's going to be really, really messy. And you need to figure out how to find the beauty in that mess. And I am so grateful I have friends of all different ages, ethnicities, and, well, not really genders. All my friends are primarily women. What can I say? I love me some women, but not like that. But but they're all so smart and they're so emotionally connected and self-aware, and I love that. I love my women, and they really help keep me focused and keep me grounded and keep me sane, because life does get overwhelming. I know sometimes online I make it look so beautiful, but it gets ugly sometimes. My family is not the most mentally stable. They've gotten better throughout the years and they're getting better. It's just that overwhelms me. That overwhelms me. My financial situation is oftentimes unstable because I'm an actor and I don't enjoy doing anything else other than acting. So a lot of my jobs are gig to gig kind of jobs, which is the hustle of New York City. So there are months where I'm not able to afford everything and it stresses me the heck out. But everything works out for me. It always does. And that's a mantra that I keep repeating to myself day in and day out. And I think I need to repeat it to myself a little more right now because times are tough right now. But having friends really helps me to come back down from that anxiety ridden mental space and know that every little thing is gonna be okay. If you're in one of those moments, reach out to people. Reach out to me. I'll talk to you. I'm terrible at texting. I will give you that. And I'm terrible at responding sometimes, but I will respond eventually. And I don't know. Just know that you're loved and know that it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It may not seem like it, and life may be really shitty right now, but it's gonna be okay and it's gonna get better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but reach out to those people who uplift you. They're the ones. They're the ones. Another way that I find hope is through small joys. Some of my small joys are watching my favorite comfort shows and slash movies. Of course, That's So Raven, The Cheetah Girls, Fern Gully, The Great Mouse Detective, The Borrowers, Get a Clue, or just any old Disney movie. Those are the ones that really fill my soul with joy and comfort, and it's like I'm getting a warm hug on my soul. Another is cooking or eating my favorite meals. A nice Panda Express meal, a homemade flour tortilla and some carne guisada, or going to Soho Thai to get their lunch special. Those things really just bring me happiness, and I mean in moderation, of course, because then you get into the whole eating to feel happiness thing, and that's a lot. Been there, done that. Is not fun. Sometimes I also like to revisit childhood memories. I like to think about the times when I was laying in bed with Mom Peggy and she would tell me stories from her life and her childhood, or that one Easter where Mom Peggy and Grandpa hid Easter eggs all in our backyard. That was a fun year. And you got to be careful with that too, though, because sometimes those memories can turn sad real quick. But for the most part, they really help keep me grounded and keep me reminded that in between all of the mess and the muck and the yuck, there are happy, positive moments, and there's going to be a lot more of those. So even though life seems stressful and chaotic and messy right now, I look forward to those little moments, those times of light and happiness and joy. And the more I focus on them, the more there's going to be. And the more that there are, the more that I get to be present in those moments, and I get to sit there and be like, wow, I'm so happy and I'm so grateful and I am here. And not all the time am I like that. Not all the time do I get to be aware in those moments, but the more that I am, the more that there are. I don't know if you're following along, if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. And also, like, finding those little moments throughout your day too that really bring you joy. Like for me at work, I don't necessarily enjoy the job, but I enjoy my coworkers and I enjoy this coffee that I make in the morning. And I've never been like a huge coffee person, but I enjoy coffee. I could live without it, but I enjoy it. I make this oat milk iced latte with lavender and vanilla, and I do it myself. And I started making them for the security guards as well, and they call it crack coffee. But that's one of my joys throughout the days. That's one of the things that keep me okay. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get through this day. It's just another day, another dollar. So find those little things that speak to you, that keep you looking on the bright side. But one thing that I do want to emphasize is that you need to let go of what you can't control. Okay? Just accept the uncertainty and don't let it steal your joy. Who knows what tomorrow's gonna bring? We could be dead. You know what I mean? The meteor could come down and just take us all out, like the dinosaurs. But we don't know that. tomorrow we could become a millionaire. I don't know how, but we could. It's crazier things have happened. Life is beautiful, messy, chaotic, but beautiful. Focusing on what you can do instead of the big, overwhelming picture makes a difference, you know? Focus on the small, little, beautiful things in your day-to-day routine. And this is a sad note, but one of my favorite movies is Precious. I love Precious. The acting is phenomenal. Monique crushed it. Gabourey Sidibe is phenomenal, and there's multiple reasons why I love that film. One of them being like, my mom was a big woman, so getting to see another big, beautiful woman on screen, getting to just live, that was just so rare for me to see. That's one thing I connected to, because Precious, even though like terrible things happen to her, she finds a way to, there's this one scene with her dad, right? That's all I'm gonna say. But she like zones out into the ceiling because there's a crack. So she literally finds a crack through her reality and creates her own imaginary world that helps her get through all of this yuck and nastiness. Is it dissociation? Sure, in that instance, but I'm sure there's a healthy way to dissociate as well in your day-to-day struggles that will help you look forward to the future through all of this mess and yuck and nastiness. And I know that was an extreme example, I know that, and they don't necessarily correlate, but you get what I'm saying. You understand the message. You pick up what I'm putting down. And hope isn't about ignoring reality, it's about finding reasons to keep going. So find those reasons. There's a lot of them out there. Pay attention to your surroundings. Be an active member. Be an active creator in your life. Don't just stand idly by. You have too much to offer this world. You're too powerful. You're too beautiful. And if you're feeling lost, I see you. You're not alone. So many of us in this world are lost or have moments of being lost. But we find our way. You'll find your way. And if not, it will find you in the best way ever. Think about today. After this podcast is over, take a few minutes to sit in silence if you can, or just close your eyes and reflect on your day and find one little thing in it that really made you feel happy. One tiny little thing. Was it a butterfly you saw? Was it that rice you had? Was it the book you read or the thing that you colored in? Find something. Your friend giving you a hug, telling you I love you. Your mom telling you I love you. Your little sister saying you're the best. Who knows what it could be, but find something that really helps keep you on the up and up. You know what I mean? You got this, and I got this. We got this. And even though there are times when I just want to go to the farthest island away and build my little hut and spearfish and just be by myself, that's not my reality, and I don't think I would really enjoy that. Hope is a four-letter word. At the end of the day, I know the world feels like a lot right now, and if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. I feel it too. But what keeps me going, what keeps me hopeful, are the little things, are the things we just talked about. Creativity. I definitely encourage creativity. So if you're struggling, I hope this episode reminds you to hold on to whatever brings you even the smallest amount of joy. Whether it's making something, watching your favorite shows, or just calling a friend. Lean into it, because that's how we keep going. That's how we find hope when it feels hopeless. And thank you so much for listening. And if this episode spoke to you, let me know. Send me a message, comment down below, or please share it with someone who might need it. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. I'll be interviewing somebody. Until then, take care of yourself. And remember, light exists even in the darkest times. You just have to find it sometimes. You got this. Love you, mean it. Bye.